Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm super excited that you guys are here and welcome to Forston Consultants. I'm Derek Forston. I'm the owner, operator, and thought leader of Forston Consultants, where me and my family, where we go all over the world showing people this concept of what I'm getting ready to teach you all right now, which is the shared living concept. We refer to it as independent living facilities because not only have we coined the phrase, we've also trademarked it. So we literally have trademarked independent living facilities, which is a shared housing model for independent adults that are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So if you're here, you probably love God, love people, and love real estate, and you've been trying to open your own housing program, but you kind of didn't know how to do it. We're going to show you how to do that without needing a license, without having to own the property, and without having to go and get all of these expensive sprinkler systems and all of these different things that we're hearing that you need, right, to start your own housing program. Some people call them group homes. We do not. Group homes have a bad stigma that's usually associated with it, right? So first of all, the first thing that I'm going to teach you guys today is that we do not call these group homes, right? These are also not assisted living facilities, because the difference between the two right off the bat, and as you guys can see, I'm jumping right into the meat of it. Guys, what we do doesn't require a license because we're not offering any other service. So again, the clients that we're serving must be independent. So if you guys get that, because if you miss that, everything that else that I'm going to talk about today, man, you guys are going to miss it. So again, the clients that we serve are absolutely independent. They don't need staff, they don't need medical oversight, and they don't need me to cook their food, right? So these are independent living individuals, whether that's the adult male or the adult female. And again, these are adults. So this model does not house women and children. It does not house the boyfriend and girlfriend or the married couple or even the pregnant lady with 6 kids, right? The independent living facility model is specifically for the adult male or the adult female. So guys, let's jump right into it. I got a couple slides that I want to show you all so that again that we all are on the same page and make sure that we understand. And one thing about me, I'm not going to waste a lot of y'all's time, but I'm going to show you guys how this all got started. I used to be a social worker. So many of you that have joined today, you used to either be a social worker, case manager, you're in some kind of healthcare industry, or you just simply love people and you love real estate. Remember what I told you earlier. If you love God, love people, and love real estate, this is it. There's nothing else better than you can do, right? Because this is not only a business, but it's also a ministry. So again, I'm like most of you all, wanted to be involved in real estate and helping people. Dummy me, as I'm actually a social worker for over 9 years, working in the setting of discharging people every day with nowhere to go. That's kind of how God showed this all to me, right? I take no credit for any of this. Guys, I barely graduated high school, right? My wife tricked me to go to college, and that's how I ended up with this social work job. But nevertheless, over the 9 years, I constantly just saw the need for housing, and I also saw the bad conditions when it came to housing. And guys, to make a really long story short, man, I was making $28,000 a year, begging for a way out, begging for another opportunity to still be able to help people, but also support my family in a better way. And man, God is genius, y'all, because He allowed me to combine social services and real estate together. So, guys, again, I'll tell you right now, I'm no genius. I just saw an opportunity of somebody that was doing something really bad, and we just put our spin on it. So, you're going to hear me talk about a few times today how maybe I saw a few different people from the social work side that I was referring to, that they were housing people in rats and roaches and squalor and things of that nature. So here were some of the things that we saw, right? I walked in some of these places because, guys, remember, I was the social worker. So I walked in some of these places and I saw what they looked like. So again, this first picture, as you see, somebody was actually living in it. This room had trash all over the floor, needles spread out throughout his dresser, the floor, the closet. Some of the beds in some of these places, y'all, were on the floor, right? No bed rails, no sheets, no covers, no pillow, just a bare mattress. Most of the places that I also walked in, the sink was full of dishes, roaches running everywhere. And guys, some of them even had rats running in and out of the cabinets. And as a social worker, can you guys imagine how this broke my heart? But I also believe that this is where God also showed kind of opportunity. Like, Derek, you should be the guy on the other side of the fence trying to help these people. You need to be on the housing side of it. So, guys, we saw unsafe stuff, unsanitary stuff, just improper accommodations for where you would house humans, guys. And one thing that really broke my heart too, guys, I'll be honest, man. Some of the people that I begged to show me what this was, one lady literally took out her phone one day. She says, Derek, I'll never teach you how, like, I got into this and how to do it. But Derek, let me show you what I make every month doing this. Y'all, she took her cell phone out and she scrolled month for month on that phone, y'all. And she made no less than $41,000 a month. Can you guys imagine how that made me feel as a social worker, really loving to help people, trying to get into real estate? And I saw somebody living my dream, making 41 grand a month, but she was mistreating people. Guys, this blew my mind. So I quickly started praying to God. I said, God, you are no respecter of person. You love that lady just like you love me. And God, if you let me get in it, not only will I share it to other people, but God, I house these people the right way. So I truly believe that that's kind of a part of the blessing and how God has blessed us, right? I'm obviously Derek talking to you from Forston Consultants today, but also have my own housing program by the name of Second Chance Housing, where we take people from homeless to hopeful and where we're creating pathways out of homelessness. So that's my personal program. So as soon as I saw the conditions and saw that this lady was making all of these buku amounts of money, guys, I had to get in it because, again, we wanted to develop something that was known again as the Forston Consultants model. And now today, I'm so thankful that we've actually trademarked independent living facility. And that's, again, where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So right here, guys, when people ask us what it looked like, and trust me, I'm not going to keep y'all long, but when people ask Derek, what does it look like? Most people think that this is a big box building, right, with like 155 beds in it, right? Guys, this is your normal single family home that most of these rooms are going to have 2 beds per room. That's called the shared living environment. You guys see a picture on the screen now where one is showing 3. That room is so large, guys. It's got a seating area and a whole nother area in that picture that you can't even see. And then there's a model where there's 1 bed per room because that's that private model. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. But again, remember that lady that I told you about that was housing people in rats and roaches? Guys, this was her model. It looked like this. There is nothing new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm no genius and I didn't create this theme per se, but we did create the independent living facility model to where we're going to house people with dignity and we're going to do it the right way. We're not going to be making all of this money and then mistreating people. Because guys, don't get this twisted. You can make a lot of money in this ministry. But if you're going to mistreat people, you're doing yourself and God a disservice. So I recommend you not get into it if you don't have a heart for people. I got a whole spiel about that, right? If you don't have a heart for people, because the requirements is simply this: love God, love people. And if you happen to love real estate, that's just the icing on the cake to all of this. And again, guys, this is what it looks like. So even in terms of the house itself, single family home, right? 4 bed, 2 bath, 3 bed, 2 bath. It can be a 1 bed, 1 bath. We get questions all the time. Derek, how big can it be? How small can it be? What do the rooms look like, Derek? Here's a great example of a private room, right? We get a lot of calls from people that have jobs or people that simply have, or like the military veterans, they don't want to share a room. Like, they're not interested in my shared room. So they want something that we would call more so of a private room or a private suite, because the private suite may also actually have a bathroom in it. Here's another private room. This room actually has a bathroom in it. So this is known to us at Forston Consultants as the private suite. So again, guys, this is independent living at its finest. And notice how great this stuff looks, right? It doesn't have to be brand new stuff from Rooms to Go or from Haverty's Furniture Place, right? These are gently used stuff. Now, what is brand new is the pillow, the sheets, the comforter, right? All of that stuff is brand new. But sometimes we're able to get headboards, right? The frame, that stuff can be gently used from thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, your next door neighbor, or maybe your own house. Here's another example of 2 per room. Now, I'll admit you guys are probably seeing a lot of the bigger beds, but this is also what we do in a twin bed model, right? So most of the rooms that we're going to do this in, obviously some of these properties are so large that we do go full size and sometimes queen. But 90 to 95% of the time, guys, we're going to be doing this from the twin bed model. Again, this is what typical rooms look like, just like this. And again, this is independent living. I don't need a license. I don't have to buy the property. I'm not feeding people. That's the biggest difference between this model, guys, and a group home, your traditional group home. That's the biggest difference in an assisted living facility, right? I'm not cooking for these folks because they're independent. So ILF, the most important letter in that whole acronym is the I, which stands for independent. Again, they can cook their own bologna sandwich. They can provide their own transportation, usually through their insurance or the local bus system, right? And they can administer and take their own medications. So, guys, I'm not trying to pretend to be a nurse. I'm not trying to pretend to be a CNA because I'm actually none of that stuff. But what I do have is a big heart for people. I love God and I love real estate. So, guys, if you love real estate and you've been renting to people just in a regular kind of a different way, this is another way for you to share with your family, your friends, your business partners, your church, your bishop, your pastor should know about this. I implore all of y'all that when you're done today, you guys should share this with a business person and definitely your church. All the needs go to the church anyway. But can you guys see what this looks like? And again, guys, we're housing a population too, in case if I didn't say it yet, we're housing a population of people that actually receive a guaranteed income. So even though they're homeless, and you guys hear us talking about that all the time, they receive a guaranteed income either through SSI, SSDI, right? Or sometimes how can I call it? Family support. So I'm housing people right now today, prime example, right? But they don't pay their own rent. Their Uncle Joe or their Aunt Sally pays the rent. Their grandmother may pay that rent. And again, just one more time, what is an independent living facility? As I let you all read that's on that screen, that is simply a residence or a property where adults, not children, not teenagers, but where adults can live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. One of the most important phrases in that whole thing right there to me is thrive, because thrive means do well. Thrive also means for me that they don't need my help, right? So as the landlord and as the ILF provider, my job and what we teach you guys at Forston Consultants through our ILF Mastery Blueprint, we teach you guys how to provide the roof over their head. You're going to keep the lights on. You're going to keep the water running, right? All the electric, and you're going to provide the washer and the dryer and the beds, and you're going to provide a safe living environment for adults. They don't need you cooking their food. You don't have to drive them to the pharmacy to pick up their medications, right? So, guys, again, this is what's different from a group home or your traditional ALF, which is an assisted living facility. And again, guys, this is what it looks like. So, again, most of the time for us, I'm going to do my shopping at Walmart. There's a store here that's called, I'm in Florida, right? So there's a store that's called Roses, ROSES. I'm giving you guys the gems, right? This is where most of the shopping is done for the pillows, the comforter, the sheets, the drawers, the sterilite drawers that we give them to actually put their belongings in. Okay. And one more time, what is an ILF not? It's not an assisted living facility, guys. You need a license to do that. You need permission from your government agencies and ACA and all of this stuff. You got to have meetings and get permission, and you got to cut red tape and jump through hula hoops and all of that. This is also not a traditional group home, because as most of you all know, group homes have a stigma attached to it. So we kind of hate the word group home. We like that term independent living facility or ILF, shared living. And a lot of people are using that whole term co-living now. So again, no matter what you choose, again, this is what it looks like. 2 people per room that we're going to do a proper assessment on to make sure that everybody's a good fit. And we're going to take people from homeless to hopeful. And I don't need a license to do this. I don't have to own the property to do this. Guys, I'll never forget when it was first unveiled to me, because I begged people to show me what this was, right? Even me as the social worker, guys, I didn't know how this worked. So I begged people to show me. Nobody would ever teach me how to do this, but one thing I will be really grateful for, that one lady told me, and she was one of the people that was housing folks in rats and roaches. She says, Derek, you think I own these places, right? She says, Derek, I don't own these places. You think I actually own these facilities that I do this out of? So I always tell people, one of like the two biggest myths in this whole independent living facility model is that you need a license and that you have to own the property. And I watched the lady house people in rats and roaches, y'all, making $41,000 a month doing it. Can you believe that? She didn't have a license, and neither did she own any of those properties. And y'all, when she told me that, here's a picture of me as a social worker. This is me starting as the social worker, kind of in the earlier years. I got a tie on, I'm go. But as God is showing me this vision, y'all, check out that second picture. I got a whole beard. I'm not wearing a tie to work no more, because I'm the guy that's leaving work, to go home like everybody else, but I'm researching. I'm trying to figure this thing out because nobody's trying to teach it to me. Guys, I'm going to bed late and have to be at this job by 8 o'clock in the morning. See how, can y'all see this picture? The first picture, I got a tie on, cleanly shaved. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still business casual in the second picture, but no tie. I got a beard going on. I'm relaxing a little bit because, guys, I'm trying to get out of there. Because raise your hand while watching this if you're trying to leave your job. Guys, my dream for you all that are watching this is that one day that God allow you to balance probably both of them in the beginning. Keep your job. Don't be so quick to quit, right? Because through the coaching, I'm going to teach you how to balance them both. But then one day, one will leave the other. And we're going to leave that job behind in the name of Jesus. And we're going to move on to do what God has truly called us to do. Because again, y'all, I'm no pastor, I'm no priest, and I'm no bishop. But I love God. I love people. And I have fallen in love with real estate. And God is so genius to where he's allowing us to combine all of that together to do his will. We're not doing this because I said it's popular, guys. The Bible says the poor and needy will always be among us. And remember, I'm no bishop, because somebody gonna say, well, Derek must think he a preacher. I'm no priest, no bishop, none of that. But we love God and we love people. And the Bible says the poor and needy will always be among us. And it also says that we are to take care of the poor, the needy, and the widow. So again, we're doing that through real estate. And from the biggest two myths that we always get is that you have to own the property and that it requires a license. And the reason why we don't need a license is because I'm only providing housing. Because, guys, essentially, I'm only providing these beds that you see. Although I am a one-stop shop. So when we teach you all, you're going to provide the lights, the water, the cable, the Wi-Fi, the security system. All of the utilities, guys, are on us. Hopefully, I'm answering a lot of your questions right now. But all the utilities are on us so that when you move these folks in, you're known as a one-stop shop. So essentially, again, I'm not cooking for these people. I'm not providing transportation, and I'm not giving medications. That's the biggest part. That's, in fact, what gets most people in trouble. If you remember nothing else from me today, remember the three biggest things that'll get you in trouble. What also makes this side of it legal: I'm not cooking their bologna sandwich, I'm not administering medications, and I'm not driving them around in an 18-passenger van. Lord have mercy. I hope you guys are enjoying this information, because I'm giving the game away, guys, on what most of y'all thought was going to stop you from starting your own housing program. And again, back to what it looked like, guys, it can look like something like this. You don't have to get all bougie. The inside, we wanted to look beautiful. But guys, I'm not mad if you go and get some manufactured home to do this in, because we get questions all the time. Derek, can I do this in a mobile home? Absolutely. As long as we're taking people from homeless to hopeful, from off the street, and it's not full of rats and roaches, we'll do this all day long. It can also be in a house like this. I got a couple of these, right? So the bigger, the more people we can help, the more income that can also come in. Notice I'm not even talking about the income a lot with this model, because guys, it's kind of does. It's a no-brainer. We take one asset and rent to multiple people. It's just like a multifamily. Guys, this is a 7-bedroom home, right? I can compare this to a multi-unit because I'm also housing multiple people in one asset. Look how genius that is. I'm using one asset to house multiple people that can't afford to buy their own house. They can't afford to get their own apartment. So they need stuff like what I have and what you guys are going to be offering, which is an independent living facility. And I'm going to tell you guys how to get the clients and everything. This is going to be the greatest webinar you guys have ever watched in terms of how to start your own housing program, co-living, shared living without the need for a license. And you don't have to go and buy this place. Most of y'all thought y'all had to go and buy these places. This is the 3-bed, 2-bath home here, a little under 1,200 square feet. A lot of the houses that you will see today, they're mine and also some of the people that we've taught this to. But inside of this house right here looks like this. Because the people we serve on that SSI and that SSDI and the guy that got the job at Walmart but can't get his own apartment and he can't buy a house. But when he finds out that he can come to a place that like this in terms of what we offer, he can get a room, especially if he don't mind sharing a room. But what if he says, Derek, you know what, Derek, man, I'm a grown man, bro. I'm 55 years old, Derek. I am not sharing no room. No problem. We also offer private accommodations. No problem. We got something for everybody. This is a 4-bed, 2-bath. I'll admit, this is my favorite model. 4-bed, 2-bath allows me to take 8 people from homeless to hopeful that will otherwise be sleeping behind a dumpster without me in my program. Remember, guys, and think about this. It's not Derek. I don't want people to know Derek in the community. I want people to know and understand and respect second chance housing. That's the name of my program. So the 4-2 model, I'll admit, out of the 1-1, the 2-1, the 3-2, I even have a 5-3. I have a 6-3. I had a 7-4 one time, but I'll admit my favorite model, because in that 4-2, I can take 8 people that will otherwise be homeless and give them a second chance. And what if, again, I get calls from people that say, well, Derek, I don't want to share a room, man. Like, you ain't got nothing where I can be by myself. Absolutely, I do. That's called the private room or the private suite. And we get this question all the time. Check out the for sale sign in the window. Derek, can I do this in a mobile home? Now, I'll just drop a gem to you right now. Here's some free coaching. Absolutely, you can, but maybe not in a community. Most mobile homes sometimes are in a community. If you're going to do it in a mobile home, we prefer you to have it on its own land. That's a gem that I'll just drop right now, because, again, most of the communities, they want you to live in it. They want you to be the tenant. And this is not what I'm teaching you guys in terms of living in it, right? Here's another one, 4-bed, 3-bath home. Guys, we're taking people from homeless to hopeful, and this is what it looks like. So again, guys, to me, and I always tell people, man, like, this isn't rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we get a home that we'll either lease or rent, right? Then we're going to build relationships with social workers and case managers. And then guess what we're going to do then? We're going to move them in. And through Forston Consultants and our teaching, we're going to teach you how to do this complete model. We're not going to allow you guys to do this on your own. Because I made a promise to God many years ago. I said, God, if you make this work for me, I promise I'll go all over the world teaching it, and I'll never take credit for it. So if you guys ever hear me take credit that I'm some genius and I thought of this and I'm the greatest guy ever, the devil is a liar. I didn't come up with this. I told y'all, man, God just structured my life to go through stuff and go through the good, the bad, the different, and the ugly, and then come back and teach it to people. Thank God for a great wife who tricked me to go to college. Without me going to school to get the degree, to get the job, I would have never saw this vision, right? So sometimes, guys, we're in the middle of something that God's trying to show us, but we miss it. I thank God that I didn't miss it on that job. Now, I will admit, I worked that job, y'all, for 9 years before the light bulb came on. Why did it take me 9 years to be on that job to realize, Derek, you should be the guy on the other side of the fence? But lucky for you all, that's exactly what I'm here for now, so that you all don't go through the things that I went through. My job is to give y'all the shortcut through all the bumps and the bruises and the lawsuits I went through. Guys, I went through it all, man. The bumps, the bruises, $30,000 lawsuits. Because, guys, I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody wanted to teach it to me. But what you see on this screen right here is one of the first houses God ever gave me. I said, God, boy, if you give me this house, I promise I'll give you all the credit and I'll teach it to people. So before this ever turned into a business and a company and the consulting firm and all of that, guys, I went state to state, city to city. My family, God bless my brother, one of the co-founders who I started this with. Guys, we went all over the world just giving this away for free. People thought we were crazy, talking about going to rent or lease a house and then renting rooms to people. But the difference between us and what some of y'all would call a boarding house or a rooming house, we got rules. There's structure. There's curfew. It's also tied to case management. So things of that nature. So again, guys, I implore you, and again, I hope you guys are enjoying this, but if you ever imagine having your own housing program, if you thought you wanted to start a group home, don't. Consider starting an independent living facility where you can still take people from homeless to hopeful, create pathways out of homelessness, and you don't need a license. You don't have to own the property, and you don't have to pretend to be a nurse to try to administer medications. Because remember, that's what gets most people in trouble when they're doing this. Hey, what's going on, family? Have you ever imagined starting your own housing program? That's probably why you're here. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, like you're kind of getting right now, but in a more of a one-on-one setting, just you and I, that's our ILF Mastery Blueprint. There's a number that they're scrolling below on this screen right now. If you text the word scholarship to that phone number, my team is going to get you some information. So first of all, I'm going to say congratulations and thank you for moving at the speed of instruction. We look forward to working with you. And again, this is only for people that desire our one-on-one coaching, which is designed to watch you succeed from going from a zero to a hero when it comes to information and knowing how to implement this independent living facility model without any mistakes. That's most important. So again, if you've ever desired to start your own housing program, but you thought you needed a license, you don't. You thought you had to be a nurse, you don't. You thought you had to own the property, you don't. Consider our ILF Master Blueprint, where we are going to take you to success and let God use you in your community, housing the homeless and the displaced. Let's get back to the show. So let's jump right back into it. So again, guys, this is what it looks like. This is why I'm also showing a lot of pictures, because a lot of people are always saying, well, Derek, what does it look like? So a lot of people think that we're also doing a build out. Guys, I'm not doing a build out. When we lease or rent, or God has blessed us to actually buy one here just a few weeks ago, guys, like, I'm not doing a build out. I'm renting or leasing the property just like it is. And then I'm going to get some beds from probably Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to post it on Instagram and TikTok that I need beds. And then I'm shooting over to Walmart to get my pillows, my comforter, right? That towel that you see on the bed. Guys, we start them off with what we would call a starter kit. So in those pictures, you guys may be able to see, like, there's deodorant, a bar of soap, there's toilet paper inside of that drawer. But this is not something that we would do ongoing. This is something that we would just say, hey, welcome to Second Chance Housing. This first set of toiletries is on me. I know that you're independent, but accept this toothbrush, toothpaste, all this shampoo and conditioner as our way of saying thank you and welcome to your brand new start. Because guys, remember, this is independent. So we don't have to supply the toiletries. So in fact, they're blessed and they're surprised that when we give them this, okay? So again, just a couple more pictures for you guys to really just get the vision of what it looks like. And then I'm gonna tell you guys how we get these clients, and then I'm gonna let you guys go and tell y'all how y'all can continue to work with me and my team, because we want to see your life changed, and we also want you to do the will of God while you're also being paid for it. So I often tell people, right, how great is it that you can find a job or a business or a ministry to where you can do God's will, help people, be respected by your community, but also make enough money to feed your family. That is something that we truly live by. And I'm going to repeat that actually, because I want you guys to either take that on for yourself and your family, and maybe also make it as a prayer. God, this is my prayer. And guys, this is just me, but you guys are feel free to take this on. God, I want to please you. God, I want to help people. God, I want to be respected by my community while I'm doing it. But God, I also want to make a bunch of money to be able to feed my family and also serve the kingdom of God. Because in the Bible, it says that if we focus on the kingdom and put God's will ahead of ours and God's plan ahead of ours, and remember in the Bible, it says the poor, the needy, and the widow will always be among us. So, guys, this is a ministry. And if we do that first, God will also take care of your house. So that's my dream for each and every one of you. Please, God, help people be respected by your community, but also make enough money to build the kingdom of God and also make enough money to feed your family. If you guys agree with that, man, just raise your hand wherever you at right now and say, that's me. So again, before I get out of here, because I'm a very practical person, I don't just like to talk about kind of what it is. I also want to show you how we do it. So this is something that we would call it Forston Consultants resident recruitment, because we don't hide this. So that means I'm going to hospitals, mental health hospitals. Remember, that's where I was for 9 years. I worked at a mental health hospital as a social worker, and then sometimes also as a case manager. So I was also called a discharge planner at times, because when somebody was being discharged from my hospital, it was my job to plan where they were going. We also get residents, or you guys may call them tenants, from drug rehab centers. But I'm also going to make social workers and case managers in my city kind of my friends, kind of put them in my Rolodex, and that's an old word, but I'm going to add them to my database, to my cell phone, to my CRM system, so that when I'm doing my social media and my outreach, I can include my social workers inside of it to tell them about all the great housing that looks like this. Remember, I want them to come and see what it looks like, because I believe in this thing called I want you to come see it, feel it, touch it. So as a social worker and as a case manager, oftentimes they're used to seeing rats and roaches and filth and grime. So the fact that we're going to do this different, and when you all learn it through us, you're going to do this different, we're going to present a product to these case managers that they've never seen. It's going to blow their minds in terms of what it looks like. They're not going to believe that they're going to work their clients into something that looks like this. And again, this is what we call the funnel system. My funnel system is hospitals, mental health facilities, drug rehab centers. And guys, I'm going to do this via social media, Instagram, Facebook, because guess what every social worker is doing on their lunch break? Scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through Instagram. So how great is it even this week? They've been seeing images of me saying, hey, got an open house coming soon, brand new ILF opening. If you're a social worker or a case manager, come out and see. But also setting up appointments to go inside of the hospital, right? To meet and talk to them about your housing program or the potential of what you have to offer. Because everybody wants to know, what does it look like? How do we furnish it? And again, I gave the gym earlier, but guys, I'm not going to rooms to go. Remember, I was a poor social worker making 28 grand a year. I couldn't buy this stuff. So a lot of things, guys, were donated to me. You guys are going to see a lot of pictures in like that huge picture that's on this wall right now. Guys, a hotel saw us on social media in terms of what we do and send an email saying, hey, man, great work that you're doing in the community. We're getting ready to trash our entire hotel and remodel it. We got thousands of pictures, thousands of beds, thousands of lamps, thousands of furniture sets, thousands of love seats, thousands of TVs. Do you want them? Man, you ought to have seen how many of us from Forston Consultants and the people that we're teaching and pouring into, every one of us got a U-Haul truck. And a lot of this furniture that you're seeing in even a lot of these pictures came from that. The thrift store where you live at, guys, the thrift store, right? But also posted on social media that you're opening your own housing program and you're looking for gently used items. Guys, I did all of this as a poor social worker, barely making 28 grand a year until I left that job. Because I'm no longer that anymore. I'm still a social worker at heart. But all of this furniture that you see, those two yellowish color that came from a thrift store, those are about 30 bucks a piece. That gray set, that was donated. That table came from a hotel. Same thing here, guys, no different. Even the pictures on the wall came from that hotel. Guys, I take no credit for that stuff. I do like to think that I do a good job of staging these places and giving people a great place to live. But if you're a social worker, can you imagine me walking you into this place If you're a case manager, say to yourself right now, wow, does any of the housing you provide for your clients, no matter where you live at, because this works in all 50 states, by the way, too. If I haven't said that, under our teaching and consulting, we're in over 30 different states, but this works in all 50 states, no matter where you live at. This dining room set was donated from people in the community. Big shout out to Sid and Shani down in Miami. This is their independent living facility. Like, their family gifted them with some of this stuff, but that's also thrift store type stuff. But see how we can take a rented or a leased facility and take people from homeless to hopeful? Because most of you all thought that you had to buy this place. And again, 3 easy steps to get started. You see it right here on the screen, right? And a part of it is what you're doing right now. You're already on the webinar, so congratulations. You've already moved at the speed of instruction. The other part of that is soaking up our YouTube channel. We go live 3 days a week, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays. Every Monday at 6, you guys should never miss one of those, and bring all of your questions, bring all of your family, your friends, because we give the game away. We also have one-on-one coaching, but I promised God many years ago, I said, God, if you make this work for me, God, I'll give it away. So that's my promise. Nothing special that you all have done. That's just a promise that I made to God. I said, God, if you let me quit my job, I think it's God, you showed me a girl that was making $41,000 a month mistreating your people, God, and rats and roaches. So God, if you give it to me, first of all, I'm going to teach it to other people so that we all succeed. And God, I'll never take credit for it. God, you get all the glory and all the honor. But let's jump back into this, right? Because I want to give y'all a couple more gems, if that's okay, before we go. Resident management, guys, is something that you may not learn overnight. That's why our coaching, we want to be able to do that. And remember, guys, the coaching is one-on-one, not 55 videos and say, well, I hope you make it. I do not give you 50 videos and say, watch this. Your coaching is me and you. I'm in your back pocket, right? You'll have my personal number. So the resident management is something that we want to cater to you by where you live at, because the coaching is different from city to city, state to state, and also personality to personality. So that's a big part of what we'll also be teaching you how to do is resident recruitment, but also resident management. How do you manage these tenants, and how do you also keep them? So also resident retention is a big part of what we also do in our one-on-one coaching. But also, how do you generate revenue? That's what a lot of you guys are here for now. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into that too. And guys, I'm not afraid to say it. This is something that can make a bunch of money. But I often tell people right here that if you don't have a heart for people, if you don't love God, this is where I'm probably going to drive you to like Airbnb or something that's different. Remember, this is a vulnerable population that we're dealing with, right? My background came from mental health clients. So the guy that has depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or some kind of mental illness. But remember, on their medications, guys, they function just like you and I. But again, this is the part of the presentation. What I always tell people is easy to get excited about the money in this. But if you truly don't have a heart for people, you're actually going to find yourself mistreating this population versus doing them a service and also benefiting your life and your family. But if you love God, love people, and you got some patience, this is absolutely it. And this is how it works. As I told you earlier, my favorite model is the 4-bed, 2-bath model. But I also love to tell people this. The smallest model to date is a gentleman that we taught in Lake West, Florida. He's got a 1-bed, 1-bath, housing 2 military veterans that will be homeless without him. Guys, it's 1 bed, 1 bath, and I think it's a little over 950 square feet. So it's not very big, but still is able to take 2 veterans from being homeless to now they're hopeful because they have a roof over their heads, and now the rest of their life can get better because, again, once we get housing right, guys, everything else can just simply fall into place. So, again, we're going to take a single person. That 4-bed, 2-bath model is the example, and that's going to allow me to get 8 people that, again, will be homeless without me. I probably found these 8 people either through advertisement, through my flyers that I pass out all through Walmart and Publix and Kroger's, or the gas station, or the case manager, or the social worker. And guys, remember, this is also what makes this different from the other regular rental model where you're renting to a family, renting to a family, guys, is one income. This right here is multiple incomes in one asset. Watch this. The 4-bed, 2-bath is going to allow you to take 8 people from homeless to hopeful. Let's just use $600 as a range. $600 a month for all of these people. And remember, you're going to pay the lights, the water, the cable, all of that stuff. All of the utilities are on us as the provider. I want you guys to be known as a one-stop shop. So again, the 4-2, 8 people, 600 times 8 guys is $4,800. That's pretty good money when it comes to real estate. But also, again, forget about the money for 2 seconds. You just took somebody from homeless to hopeful. That person would have been sleeping outside without you. That's why this ministry, guys, is so powerful, because God's blessing is already tied into it. You're doing God's will through real estate. So remember the statement I told you earlier? Imagine having a business or a job where you can do God's will and the blessing of God is already built into it. I hope you guys really get that, man. The blessing of God is already built into your business because of what you're doing. Remember the scripture, the poor and needy will always be among us. And it's up to us, the people, to take care of the poor, the needy, and the widow. Some of y'all gonna house these people. Some of y'all gonna feed people. Some of y'all gonna clothe people. We choose to do a little bit of it all, but we believe that housing starts first, because if I can get housing right, everything else can kind of fall into place for this individual. So this is what people are talking about when they kind of refer to our model as like real estate on steroids. That's kind of one of the nicknames that people have given us. And again, it's because of what this right here looks like. I'm not renting by the room per se. I'm not renting by the house per se. I'm renting by the bed. You now, after watching this, you're no longer going to buy real estate property and just do Section 8 or just rent to a mom, dad, and 3 kids. I'm going to teach you how to take this 3-bed, 2-bath and rent to 6 people that need your help, and they all receive a guaranteed income. And somebody saying, well, Derek, how is that possible? Glad you asked. That's why I'm here. It's called SSI or SSDI. Even me as the social worker, y'all, I didn't fully understand in the beginning that these homeless people that you see holding that sign talking about I work for food, I didn't know that guy had a check, as y'all call it. It's actually on the debit card. But God, SSI or SSDI, that's just a guaranteed government stipend that comes every month without fail. Nothing stops it. It's a social security income. Either you get that for your mental health or sometimes for your physical health. But this is how we get paid from the residents that we serve. I also serve the guy that has a job at McDonald's or at Walmart or that works for the city or the jail system. So if they got a guaranteed income, no problem. You're going to also accept family support. So that means that when you're housing Craig and Tyrone and Juan and Jose, they may not pay you from their pocket, but their mom may pay you. Their dad may pay the rent. Uncle Joe may send that rent money or Zelle it or Venmo it. And then probably my favorite way to be paid, ladies and gentlemen, is probably community funded programs. Community funded programs allows me to help the guy that has no money, no job, no SSI, no SSDI. But guess what? For some reason, he met certain criteria that allows him now to be connected to this program that may be at the local hospital, that instead of discharging him to the street, they're going to call you and say, good morning, ma'am. I just saw your post on social media. I'm discharging a guy today and we need some help. Can you house him? Can you interview him to see if he's a good fit? Look how through that social media piece in there. She saw your post on social media. Now she says, oh, and by the way, he don't have money. He doesn't get SSI or SSDI, but we're going to pay for it. That's what that call sounds like, guys, when it's from a community-funded program. So don't forget, man, everything that you guys pretty much heard today is involved in our coaching, but my job today was to give y'all a lot of advice and a lot of ways of how we do this shared living model. And also, don't let nobody tell you that you can't do this, and don't let nobody tell you that you need a license. Don't let nobody tell you that it's impossible, because while rewarding, it's not easy, but this is also one of the biggest blessings that has ever touched my life. This has allowed me to quit my job, retire my mom, right? Pull my wife from corporate America, because all of this dream that I always wanted to help people and I always wanted to be involved in real estate. Dummy me, I have no clue why it took 9 years for me to be on that job for the light bulb to come on. But now today, I kind of sort of do know. It was for people just like you that are watching this now, that one day you were researching how to get started with my own program. You probably typed in group home and I popped up. But my job was to show y'all today of how you can get into real estate and the field of helping people through social services, and how God, not Derek, God was genius enough to let us combine it together and put it in a blender. And now we pour it all over the world, all over the counties, all over the states. And we can rent or we can lease. You don't even have to buy the property. And you can take people from homeless to hopeful simply by using social workers, case managers, and anybody that's in the social service setting, right? Anybody that's a discharge planner that is discharging people. And remember, we serve a population that has a guaranteed income. So either the SSI or that SSDI, or the guy that works at Sonny's Barbecue, the guy that works at Burger King, the guy that works at Outback Steakhouse, the substitute teacher. Doesn't matter to us, because when we first started this, we only housed what I would call the mental health client or patient. But now today, we're housing an everyday Joe that's got a 9-to-5 job, but can't afford his own apartment. Background check will allow him to buy a house, so that when he sees my post on Instagram about I offer private rooms, I become a no-brainer to him now. And that's what I want you all to be. So thank y'all so much for allowing me to spend these 45 minutes with you all explaining what this is, how to get involved in it. Because some people just talk about it and talk about them. We can talk about me and other stuff when y'all catch us live every Monday on YouTube at Forston Consultants at 6 p.m. Eastern. But today's goal, and right now on this call, was to make sure that you know that you can start your own housing program with no license. You don't have to be a nurse or a doctor. And most importantly, guys, you don't have to own the property. That's what stops most people. You think you have to own it. Okay? So congratulations. You guys be blessed. I'm going to pray us out here before we go, because we do believe in God and prayer. Because my prayer for you all is that you get it, you understand it, and God allows you to make it work. Because he's no respecter of person. If he made it work for me and allowed me to quit my job, he'll do the same for you. So, Father God, thank you so much for the seed that was sown just now. Thank you for the ability to give what you just gave me, God. God, for these people, allow it to work. I claim right now that the devil is under their feet and has no place in their life, their business, their family, or their vision. Today, I ask that you make the way easy and you make it work for them. Allow them, God, to move at the speed of instruction, to do what they've heard. Allow your Holy Spirit to bring all of it back to their remembrance. Allow the information to seep into their spirit, and allow their hand to be moved to the plow to do the work. God, we'll be ever so careful to give you all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. And now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Don't wait to be great, and we'll see you guys on the other side of success. If this is your first time ever joining us, first of all, I want to say thank you. Second of all, I hope you're enjoying the content. But probably most importantly, I want you guys to text more info to the phone number 407-326-0086. That's going to give you our introductory webinar that breaks all of this down. And it also gives you a call with someone on our team to answer every question you have before moving forward. Because remember, I don't want you to buy nothing before you have a clear understanding of what this is and how to operate it. So one more time, text only these two words, more info, to 407-326-0086, and you will get an immediate download. You click that, you put your name, email address, and phone number, instant download. After watching that webinar, which is about 55 minutes long, first of all, it's going to change your life. Second of all, make sure you book that call, and then you join us 7 days a week on our YouTube channel right here at Forston Consultants, and we'll see you on the other side of success. Let's go. Most people don't fail because they're broke. They fail because they're not in the right room. The ILF Academy is not another Facebook group. It's the cheapest and most affordable access point to learning the independent living facility model. In fact, my master class that I taught, it was over 3 hours and 58 minutes. I put that inside of this $5 group. And if you know anything about me, guys, only my one-on-one people get that kind of coaching. But I'm giving it to you all because I want no excuses this year that you didn't know how to get started. So the ILF Academy Elite is only $5, and I'm going to put the link below. We'll see you there. The first step to getting started with your own independent living facility is texting the phrase "more info" to 407-326-0086. One more time, if you text the phrase "more info" to that phone number, we're going to give you an immediate text message. You fill out your name, email address, and phone number, and we're going to send it to you instantly to watch it with you and your family or you and your team. And then if you have questions, we want you to join us 7 days a week on our YouTube channel so that we can learn and grow together. But if you think that you want to move forward with one of our coaching products, we'll also speak to you by phone just to make sure that you understand fully what you're getting yourself into. And again, it starts with our webinar. So text "more info" to the phone number 407-326-0086, and we'll see you on the other side of success.
Hey, Derek, I just want to ask, what's the biggest benefit of independent living facility?
Well, in my opinion, the best form of real estate is shared housing. That's why we invented the independent living facility model, because we view it like this. Why get one house and rent to one income, right? A family, usually mom, dad, 3 kids. What the ILF model does, it allows you to take that same 4-bed, 2-bath home and take 8 people from homeless to hopeful. That's the benefit of shared housing.
So what's the secret to being so successful in the ILF housing model?
The biggest secret literally that we have, and it's kind of no secret because we always say it, we keep God first, right? We love people and we love real estate. So we live by this thing that says that we want to please God, right? Because we believe that if you do that, man, everything else can just fall in place. We believe in helping people. And that's something that's actually in the Bible. God says that when you do unto the least of thee, it's like you're doing it unto him. We also believe in being respected by our community while we're doing it. When I first started this, guys, nobody knew me. Today, we're really well known, but not because of how great I am. It's because of the housing program that's changing the lives of the city in which we live in. And then the last part about it, I want you guys to make enough money to feed your family. So one more time, we believe in pleasing God, helping people, being respected by the community, but I also want you to make enough money to feed your family. And you can do that while doing the independent living facility model. So just text "more info," just those 2 words, "more info," to 407-326-0086. And that's the first starting point. David, I know you're not there yet, but remember I told you to act in faith. And while you're doing all the homework that I told you about earlier, always be looking for a property, whether that's on Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook Marketplace, or word of mouth using your social media. Always be looking for a property because you just never know when God's going to say, "Go, it's your time." Yeah, I remember that. But, and you won't believe it, but I actually found a property and it's in one of them HOAs. And see, David, I can tell already you haven't been listening because that's one of my major rules is that we never start an independent living facility in an HOA or a community association. Because always in the fine print, it's going to say something about you can't run a business inside of here and you can't not sublet, which is the entire model of what we do. Does that make sense? Dennis, would you happen to have like a list of things that, you did wrong in the beginning when you first started your independent living facility? Like what kind of mistakes that you made? David, that's actually a great question, right? Even coming from you. I wrote a book that's entitled "How to Avoid the ILF Fiasco." And in fact, David, it's the 12 dumbest mistakes that are ever made. And because I didn't want other people to make them, I put it in a book. So go to forstonconsultants.com. That's again, forstonconsultants.com, and check it out. That's where you can find all of our ebooks, all of our coaching, and more information about live events. Well, I'm going to just have to do that then because that sounds like a good starting point to me. Hey, Dennis, I was watching one of your replays on your YouTube channel, over there at Forston Consultants, and you said something about paying us as an affiliate if we refer somebody to y'all and they get the coaching, you will pay me. Like, what does that mean? David, do you listen or understand anything we talk about? And yes, that's true. We'll literally pay you for using your affiliate link, that if you drive somebody to us,
for the coaching and they get it, we pay you 40%. We started that last year. Not sure how long Derek could continue to do that, but David, get in now. Text the word affiliate to 407 326 0086. Fill out the information and you're in. It's that easy. Wow, man. That's a heck of a deal because basically you telling me if I refer somebody to you for your one-on-one coaching, you're going to give me 40% of that. So Dennis, in your professional opinion, since you trademarked the ILF, which is the best population or probably which is the easiest population to serve when I want to get started with my ILF? Well, if you're asking me my personal opinion, I love the elderly adults and military veterans. They're super independent. They don't usually need much from you. And again, they're just easier. People that are more settled in life, meaning age-wise, they just typically are a little bit easier than your younger crew. So, but I always tell people also, right, choose your population by what your community is dictating. Where I live at in Orlando, Florida, it screams for military veterans and elderly adults, which just so happens to be my favorite.